Welcome back. Last week, we talked about the real meaning of success in America. Today, I'm going to break down some of the financial metrics that represent financial success and how home ownership affects our financial well-being. Being successful in America means that you have the financial capacity and cash flow to enable you to live in a quality neighborhood, provide for your daily needs and wants, and have the ability to pay for all of your obligations without stress or risk of loss. Defining financial success in America today is a multifaceted concept, as it can vary greatly based on individual perspectives and societal standards. However, several key factors are commonly associated with financial success in the United States today. The first is income stability and growth, of course. Financial success often involves having a stable, growing income. This could mean having a job with a good salary, consistent wage growth, or running a profitable business or side hustle. Secondly, wealth accumulation. Accumulating wealth such as through savings, investments, and ownership of valuable assets like real estate, crypto, or stocks is a key indicator of financial success. This aspect goes beyond just earning a high income. It also involves managing and growing your income. The third is debt management. Successfully managing or being free from significant debt is another important aspect of financial success in America. This includes having manageable or preferably zero levels of consumer debt, such as credit cards, and making consistent progress toward paying off long-term debts like mortgages or student loans. Number 4 is financial independence and security. The ability to support yourself and your family without financial strain is a crucial element. This also extends to having financial security for the future, including retirement savings and insurance. And fifth, quality of life. Financial success is also measured by the quality of life it enables, such as the ability to afford health care, education, leisure activities, and a comfortable and safe living environment. Number 6 is philanthropy and giving back. Financial success includes the ability to give back to your community through philanthropy, donations, or other forms of social contributions. Number 7 is flexibility and freedom. The freedom to make choices about work and lifestyle without financial constraint is another part of financial success. This includes the ability to pursue passions, take vacations, or enjoy a work-life balance. And finally, 8, meeting your personal goals. Financial success is deeply personal and can be defined by individual goals and aspirations. For some, it might mean achieving a certain net worth, while for others, it might be about financial stability and family security. Overall, financial success in America today is not just about the amount of money you earn or have, but also involves wealth management, quality of life, personal fulfillment, and the ability to navigate financial challenges with resilience and intelligence. Now, let's talk about some of the shocking realities that relate to financial success and security in today's housing market, particularly for young people just entering the adult workforce and those who find themselves renting or even without housing. Think about this. The average national median rent price is over $2,000. It's actually $2,046. And the average price of an upper middle class house in the United States is now over $495,000. With a 20%, $100,000 down payment on a $495,000 home and a 30-year mortgage at a 7.9% interest rate, which is today's interest rate, the monthly payment would be approximately $2,907, and that only covers the principal and interest on the mortgage. The average cost for homeowners insurance is about $1,200 a year, or about $100 per month. However, rates are more in high-risk areas and in higher-priced neighborhoods, of course. If we assume a median property tax rate of around 1%, the annual property tax would be about $4,500, or about $375 per month. Combining these averages, a homeowner might expect to pay around $475 per month for both homeowners insurance and property taxes. The total monthly cost for the principal, interest, property taxes, and homeowners insurance for a $495,000 home with a $100,000 down payment and a 30-year mortgage at a 7.9% interest rate would be approximately $3,382, and this does not include HOA fees, utilities, or maintenance on your home. Based on a monthly income of $12,100, your annual income would need to be over $145,000. So getting back to our rental calculation, landlords typically don't want you to pay more than 33% of your gross income for rent. That means that to afford the median rent in America today, you would need to earn at least $6,830 per month, or almost $82,000 per year. It's interesting to note that the poverty level for a single individual in America is around $14,000 per year, or just $1,167 per month, while the poverty level for a family of four is around $29,960, or $2,496 per month, or just over $14 an hour. The average gross income for a family of four in America is $75,000, while 16.5% of Americans have an income between $50K and $75K, and 12% of families earn between $75K and $100K, and 15% of families earn from $100K to $150K, and 8.3% earn between $150K and $200K, and only 10.3% of families earn over $200,000 per year. So, how can people just starting out in the adult job market ever hope to get into a home, let alone afford to pay rent every month? Young people, or anyone else for that matter, looking to enter the housing market in today's climate of high prices can consider several strategies to help them achieve this important goal. The reason I talk about this is that if you don't own a real estate, like a personal home or investment real estate, you can never expect to get into real estate in the future, and you lose out on incredible equity appreciation over the years. Let's talk about some of the strategies that you could use. Number one, saving and budgeting. You need to develop a strict budget and savings plan. Look for ways to reduce expenses and increase your savings. Secondly, financial education. Like listening to this video. Learn about mortgages, interest rates, and the real estate market. Understanding these can help in making informed decisions. Third, your credit score improvement. Many people have a poor credit score because they start out in their late teens getting credit and abusing credit, and then when they realize they actually need it, they don't have it. Work on improving your credit score, as this can significantly affect mortgage rates and your ability to get approved. Number four, first-time home buyer programs. Research government or other private programs designed to help first-time buyers, which may offer benefits like lower down payments or reduced interest rates. Number 5, this one might surprise you, is co-ownership. Consider buying a property with friends or family members. This can make it more affordable, though it requires careful planning and legal agreements. Number 6, smaller properties or different locations. Look for smaller properties or homes in less expensive areas. Sometimes you can buy a fixer-upper, and that can be more affordable, even in a nicer area. Number 7, long-term planning. Understanding that it might take longer to afford a home. Patience and long-term planning are key. Number 8, consider alternative housing options. Explore alternative housing options like tiny homes, co-housing communities, or living in areas with lower cost living. Remember, the objective is to get into a home so that you own and control the value of that home. And as inflation goes up, your equity will also go up. Number 9, seek professional advice. Seeking advice from financial advisors or real estate professionals, or even attorneys, they can provide tailored advice based on your financial situation. And 10, investing. Consider investing in stocks, bonds, or other assets that can grow your wealth over time, making it easier to afford your down payment. Remember, each situation is unique, so it's important to do thorough research and consider all your options before making a decision about how you're going to proceed. Now, I want to give you some specific steps that you can follow starting today to become a homeowner, even in today's expensive housing market. But before I do, I want to share with you the financial implications of buying a home, even a modest one, versus renting for the next 10 years. You might want to take out a piece of paper and jot down some of these numbers. Look at these 3 scenarios. Which will you choose? Number 1, buying a $200,000 home with a 5% down payment, equity build of $210,871 over 10 years. Less PMI costs, $14,250. Net equity, $210,871 minus $14,250 equals $196,621. 2, buying a $200,000 home with a 20% down payment. Here, the equity build for the home after 10 years is going to be $325,779 minus the remaining mortgage balance of $96,765 equals approximately $228,874. In this scenario, because you pay 20% down, there's no PMI cost. Now the third option is renting. Your total rent paid over 10 years would be $157,676. You, of course, gain no equity because you flushed all this money down the drain with no equity and no tax benefits. Now let's consider a scenario based on more affordable U.S. real estate markets and incorporate factors like neighborhood proximity, renting out rooms, and the option of a fixer-upper. We'll also compare the financial implications of a smaller down payment with mortgage insurance versus a larger down payment. Here are the assumptions that we'll use. First of all, the starter home price. We'll assume a $200,000 price. This is a reasonable estimate for affordable markets in America today. You may have to search hard to find one of these, but it may be worth looking for. Second, average annual income. We're going to, for this example, Use an average annual income of $60,000 for the combined couple. Third, savings rate. 20% of net income after tax and essential expenses. Next, your down payment options. You could pay 5%, which would be 10 grand, versus 20%, which would be 40 grand. Your down payment options could be 5% or $10,000 versus 20%, which would be $40,000. Obviously, you need to save more to pay for the 20% down payment. Next, interest rate. Unfortunately, today, it costs approximately 8% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. This, of course, is subject to market conditions and your credit rating. Now, in year 1 and 2, we're going to focus on savings for the down payment. Your monthly savings, assuming a net income of $4 grand a month after taxes and essentials, and saving 20%, would be $800 a month. Second, your total savings in 2 years at $800 a month times 24 months is $19,200. Now, if you want to stop at that point, that's great. You may be able to find some financing that allows you to get into a house with that kind of savings. But if not, you can continue into years 3 and 4, additional saving and preparing for the purchase. Number 1, think about continued savings. An additional savings for another 2 years would be at least another $19,200. Second, your total savings in 4 years would be $19,200 double, or $38,400. This could be more depending on how you invest your savings while you hold it. You certainly wouldn't want to just leave it in a bank. Today, at a bare minimum, I would encourage you to seek out a money market fund where today's rates are approaching 5%. Next, let's talk about the actual home purchase options at year 4. Number 1 option would be a smaller down payment. A down payment of 10 grand would be at 5% of a $200,000 home. After 4 years, your remaining savings would be $28,400. You could use these funds for closing costs, an emergency fund, or for some small home improvements or adjustments to the property after you move in. So your mortgage amount in this scenario would be $180,000. Your monthly mortgage payment would be approximately $1,386, excluding taxes, insurance, and PMI. PMI is an additional cost until you reach 20% equity in the property. Secondly, your option 2 would be making a larger down payment of 20%. Your down payment would be $40,000, which is 20% of 200 grand. Remaining savings would be none. All of it would be used for your down payment. Your mortgage amount would actually be a lot less, but now down at $160,000 for your mortgage, and you wouldn't have any monthly mortgage insurance. Your mortgage payment would be approximately $1,167, so you save that each month. This excludes your taxes and insurance. Remember, no PMI, which is pretty cool. You may need to forego proximity or a preferred neighborhood. Living in less expensive areas can significantly reduce the home prices. Buying a home in a slightly less desirable area, but closer to preferred neighborhoods, can be a good compromise. Consider renting out one or more of the rooms in your home. Renting a room for $500 a month can significantly offset your mortgage costs. It can create a little bit of inconvenience and a little bit of a different lifestyle for a period of time while you need it, but it can be well worth it. This can make a more expensive home or a better neighborhood more affordable. And finally, let's talk about the fixer-upper option. Buying a fixer-upper in a better neighborhood might reduce your initial costs. Investing time and effort in repairs can build what's called sweat equity. This requires skills, time, and potentially extra funds for renovations. But you wouldn't have to do this on day one either. So let's compare a lower down payment versus a larger down payment. I think you might find this interesting and take some notes on this. Your lower down payment allows earlier entry into home ownership. It does include PMI or private mortgage insurance. It is an additional cost but might be offset by home value appreciation and the tax benefits that we haven't even talked about yet. This can provide greater liquidity with more savings in hand. Larger down payment means you'll have a lower monthly payment, no PMI, reducing overall mortgage costs. It does require more time to save, delaying your entry into home ownership and potential equity growth. And for those who are eager to enter the housing market quickly, a lower down payment might be more advantageous, especially if the home value appreciates and you can invest the remaining savings wisely. These options may be available through VA or FHA financing, and you should check those out. Renting out a room or buying a fixer-upper can further make home ownership more affordable. The best option depends on your individual financial situations, market conditions, and personal preferences, including your risk tolerance and the ability to manage property maintenance and tenants. Now, let's look at potential equity appreciation. This is the fun part. Your home value after 10 years could be approximately $325,779. Your equity build is over $210,000. In fact, it's $210,871 in 10 years. Plus, PMI costs $14,250. So your net equity would be your $210,871 less the PMI cost of $14,250, means that you would end up with $186,621, which, if you look back at the earlier numbers on rent, is more than you would have paid for rent during the entire 10-year period. So your equity growth is significantly higher with the increased appreciation rate, making buying scenarios even more financially advantageous over renting. PMI costs slightly reduce the equity for the 5% down payment scenario, but the overall financial benefit of buying remains incredibly strong. Average annual PMI cost based on 0.75% of the initial loan amount of $190,000, it's approximately $1,425 annually, which isn't a huge amount when you consider that on a monthly basis. The total PMI cost over 10 years is again $14,250. Now, let's compare that with buying with a 20% down payment. In that scenario, your equity build, home value after 10 years, would be $325,779. Your remaining mortgage balance is now way down to $96,765. So you end up with $228,875. No PMI costs. Buying with a 20% down payment still appears to be the best option in terms of equity build, even though it requires more upfront capital. Now, of course, let's look at renting again, our third scenario. Your total rent paid over 10 years, $157,000 $676. Zero equity build. No tax benefits are received. And renting offers some flexibility, but results in no equity accumulation, and the total rent paid is significantly less than the equity gain in either of the buying scenarios. Considering the higher equity appreciation rate, both home buying scenarios offer substantial financial benefits over renting in the long term. The return on investment, or your ROI, for each home buying scenario is as follows. First, buying with a 5% down payment, your ROI is approximately, you're not going to believe this, 1,866.21%. This extraordinarily high ROI is due to the low initial investment or down payment relative to the significant equity build over 10 years, even after accounting for PMI costs. The 5% payment scenario shows a significantly higher ROI, mainly because the initial investment is much lower and the equity build from home appreciation is still substantial. Despite the cost of PMI, the return of the initial down payment is remarkable. The projected annualized ROI is approximately 34.7%. That's your annualized ROI. Secondly, buying with a 20% down payment. Now compare this with a 5% payment, and I think you'll be surprised with the numbers. Your ROI is approximately 472.54%. This ROI is also quite high, but lower than the 5% down payment scenario, reflecting the larger initial down payment. The 20% down payment scenario, while having a lower ROI, still represents a strong return on the initial investment, benefiting from avoiding the PMI and lower loan principal. The projected annualized ROI is approximately 19.06%. Try and find a return on investment like that in the stock market. Probably unlikely. Now let's take a look at rent again. It does not provide any ROI. You might even call it negative ROI, as rent payments do not contribute to asset accumulation or equity build. These ROIs represent the power of leverage in real estate investment, where a smaller down payment can yield a higher return on investment due to the impact of property appreciation on the total asset value. This is really a powerful concept because the minute you buy a property, whether you pay 5% or 20%, you control the equity appreciation because you own that property. This is called leverage. Of course, you have to go into debt to enjoy the benefits of this leverage, but you also have the security all along the way of that property, which is probably the strongest collateral you could possibly have, which minimizes your risk. Now, these returns indicate that both buying scenarios are very strong investments, significantly outperforming many traditional investment vehicles. However, remember that real estate markets can vary, and these returns are not guaranteed. Also, other factors like maintenance costs, fluctuations in market conditions, and personal circumstances would also be considered when making housing decisions. The important thing to remember is that paying rent always provides you a guaranteed rate of return of 0%. The sooner you become a homeowner or other real estate investor, the sooner you start gaining equity to not only help you to gain wealth, but also overcome the persistent effects of inflation that are constantly eroding our buying power. One of the best things about real estate is that you can own and control an appreciating asset while it increases in value, while only making a relatively very small down payment. Also, as your equity grows, you'll be empowered to later sell your home by shifting your equity into another home or other property. So, why should you start immediately? Here's the thing. Every year you delay, you're not only paying someone else's mortgage through your rent, but you're also missing out on equity growth. Imagine this, a 5% annual appreciation on a $495,000 home adds nearly $25,000 to its value each year. That's wealth you could be building. Now let's talk about strategy. First up, saving for your down payment. You don't need 20%. Even 5%, which is around $24,750, is a great start. But how can you save? Cut unnecessary expenses. Consider side hustles and maybe move back home with your parents temporarily if you can. Unfortunately, many young people do move back with their parents, and yet they spend all of their earned money on frivolous expenses or incurring consumer debt. Don't make that mistake. If you can do that, put as much as you possibly can, maybe 80% of your discretionary income, into savings. Next, focus on improving your credit score. This is crucial for securing a good mortgage rate. You may not know it, but your credit score has a dramatic effect on the interest rate that you are charged, and that goes on for a very long time. Pay your bills on time. Keep credit card balances low and avoid new debts. In fact, my strong recommendation would be never, ever, ever carry a credit card balance. If you're going to use a credit card, for heaven's sakes, pay it off every month and use it to benefit from the cash rewards, but do not carry a balance on which you owe interest to somebody else. You'll also want to get familiar with mortgages and first-time buyer programs. Knowledge here is power, and money saved. But here's where it gets really interesting. Creative strategies to make homeownership affordable. Consider less expensive neighborhoods or a fixer-upper like we talked about earlier. These options can be gateways to better areas and offer the chance to build sweat equity. You may have heard the old axiom, location, location, location. There are incredible, significant benefits to living in a good neighborhood, including these days, safety. Another strategy, house hacking. Buy a property, live in one part, and rent out the rest. This rental income can cover a significant portion of your mortgage, making it easier to afford. In fact, over time, it can cover your entire mortgage. And don't overlook the possibility of co-ownership. Buying with friends or family can split costs and make it more manageable. Plus, you'll have more than one person saving for the down payment. Let's circle back to the financial side. Say you buy a $495,000 home with a 5% down payment at an 8% mortgage rate. Your monthly payment would be around $3,225, excluding taxes and insurance. Sounds high, right? But here's where it gets really exciting. With a 5% annual appreciation, your home could be worth over $800,000 in 10 years. That's over $300,000 in equity, not including what you've paid down on the mortgage. Even after factoring in maintenance and PMI, the return on your initial investment is phenomenal. Delaying home ownership means missing out on this incredible equity growth. And remember, rent prices rise too. What you pay in rent now could significantly increase in a few years with no return on investment and making it even more difficult to get into a home later. Remember, the path to home ownership is not just a dream. It's a financial strategy that you can set up for a future of wealth and security and prosperity. Start now, plan intelligently, and use every tool at your disposal. The longer you wait, the more you lose in potential wealth and equity. Don't forget, every step forward is a step toward financial freedom. You've got this, and we're here to help you every step of the way. Stay motivated, stay informed, and let's build your wealth together. Thank you for watching Prosper and Create Real Wealth. For more insights and strategies on building real wealth, hit that subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, keep prospering and creating real wealth in your life.